We're going to write a polynomial f of least degree, we're not going to overdo it, that has rational coefficients. We wouldn't know where to begin with irrational because we can't lock them down. And leading coefficient of 1 and the given zeros. Well, looks like a kiss right here. 5 happens twice, so that must be x minus 5 squared. But we'll take them. That won't be hard to write, will it? And then if we have if we have 4 plus I, then we also have 4 minus I. If you recall, the conjugate is where I just changed the sign in front of I, and it's got to be a root. If I have one, then I have the other. My imaginary and my irrational roots come in pairs. All right. So, yeah, I was just thinking about the rational part, but anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll say x minus, should be x minus 5. X minus 5 times x minus 5. Well, what is that? And should I write it? Let's write it all out. X minus, I have to always subtract my 0. Well, my 0 is 4 plus I. And I also have x minus 4 minus I. That doesn't look good enough. Let's see. 4 minus I. So I suppose I should write it again. Let me just go ahead and FOIL or multiply those first two together. I'm going to get x squared. Minus 5 happens twice, so I get minus 10x. And then negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. And then I'm going to multiply this by, let me write it out like this, I guess. Should I? Let me multiply these together. I'm going to get x times x squared. I'm going to get 2 of these. Well, no, I'm not. They're different. So I'll just write them out like this. I'll get first when I say these two together, I'm going to get a negative. And then when I multiply these two together, I'm also going to get a negative, but the inside is different, so I can't combine them. I wanted to, but I can't. So x times the outside first is 4 minus I. And then I'm also going to get minus x times 4 plus I. Okay. And then I'm going to get, I think I'll go off to the side for this. I'm going to have to multiply these guys together. And it's going to be positive, whatever it is. But 4 plus I times 4 minus I. And they're conjugates, so they will not have a middle term. So that's going to give me 16 minus I squared, which means 16 minus a minus 1, which is 17. So I'm going to say 17. And then I'm going to close my parenthesis. Okay, so let me see what I can do a little bit more before I get going on this. I'm going to go ahead and distribute my negative sign. So I'm going to have negative 4x plus x times I. And I'm going to have negative 4x minus x times I plus 17. You can see that these guys are going to cancel. Happily. We don't want those i's around anymore, and we don't have to put up with them. We still have this big multiplication coming at the end here. But in the meantime, I have x squared minus 8x. I put my 4x's together, plus 17. That's the imaginary side. And now we'll put them together. So we say x squared times x squared. That's x to the 4th. And I have x squared times negative 8x. So that's negative 8x to the 3rd. And x squared times 17. So I have 17x squared. Now it's negative 10x's turn. So I say negative 10x times x squared is x to the 3rd. So I line it up with this. Negative 10 times positive, negative 8 is positive. negative 10 times negative 8 is positive 80, and I get x squared. And negative 10 times 17 is negative 170 with an x coming along. And then finally 25 times x squared is 25x squared. And 25 times negative 8 quarters is $2, right? 200 times x. 25 times 17, whew, that's a little much for me, reaching for my calculator. And it's 425, positive 425. I guess I should have known that. Quarter analogy still works. 16 quarters is $4. Okay, x to the fourth. I'm going to put these together. I get negative 18 x to the third. I put all these together. It looks like 122 x squared minus 370 x plus 425. Woo! That is my polynomial. And I know, since I built it, I know the roots. The roots are these guys up here. These are the zeros up here. If I were to unpack it like I usually do, I'd go back and get my zeros, but I'm going the other way this time. I'm building it. So just a little tedious, but not too bad.